For decades, writing software meant staring at a text editor like VS Code and manually typing out syntax, line by precise line. 2 years ago, Cursor 1.0 acted as an airline copilot, an AI assistant alongside you, predicting and auto-completing code. 6 months ago, Cursor 2.0 escalated the relationship. It took the captain's seat, seizing control of your terminal to independently build entire features. In a span of just 24 months, these tools evolved from passive autocomplete engines into active, independent participants in the developer workforce. Now, Cursor 3.0 has a completely different philosophy. It doesn't want you writing code. Instead, it elevates you out of the text editor entirely. Your required role is now the air traffic controller. You are expected to manage swarms of autonomous AI agents, deploying them across multiple repositories and cloud servers simultaneously. To pull this off, the developers made a highly controversial technical decision. They completely abandoned their origins as a VS Code fork and rewrote the entire software architecture from scratch in Rust. This drastic pivot alienates developers who prefer the familiar environment. But structurally, the move was inevitable. Managing multiple independent agents at once requires massive amounts of memory, and the old architecture simply couldn't support the load. Running a swarm of autonomous agents requires a very specific type of fuel. You need an AI model that is incredibly smart, but also extremely cheap to operate at scale. This scatterplot illustrates Cursor's solution, Composer 2. It outperformed Claude Opus 4.6, landing in a quadrant of higher intelligence at a fraction of the cost. But metadata sleuths discovered Composer 2 was actually just Moonshot's Kimi K2 model. Kimi K2 itself had previously been accused of training on Claude's proprietary outputs, to the point where it would occasionally introduce itself as Claude in chats. Despite the subsequent apologies and technical reports, the shift remains driven by utility. Acquiring fast, smart, and cheap AI is now the absolute non-negotiable requirement for the zero-code era to function. To optimize for this era, the new Rust and TypeScript interface physically changes what you look at. It shifts your primary focus away from reading the raw lines of your codebase. While the legacy tools of a professional environment, like language servers and remote SSH, are still present, they are now secondary features supporting a platform built expressly for AI orchestration. This diagram shows the new architectural reality. Rather than acting as a text editor for human hands, it functions as a central command hub where independent nodes rapidly process tasks in orbit around your oversight. It's a home for your agents. Building an application here is no longer a localized task of memorizing and typing syntax. It is a macro-level exercise in systems architecture. To see how this operates in practice, let's look at a real-world prototype for a project called Horse Tinder. The workflow begins by entering Plan mode, where the AI drafts the basic architecture of the entire application. While the primary plan maps out, you spin up secondary agents to simultaneously build marketing pages or configure servers. But this requires a new feedback loop. If a thread flashes a yellow dot, it pauses, waiting for your permission to execute an unsafe command. Once you approve the action, the agent resumes until the indicator turns blue. A blue dot signals that the task is finished, and the generated code is waiting for your review. By running these tasks concurrently, a complex build that would normally take weeks of manual coding is condensed into a multi-minute management session. After just a few minutes, you have 13,000 lines, inspecting built-in Git history tools and testing the live app. If the interface looks rough, you don't open a file to tweak the CSS. You enter design mode. You just highlight the flawed visual elements and queue up AI tasks, watching the design correct itself in real time. The final output is a fully functional, complex application generated entirely through high-level human orchestration paired with raw AI execution. Programming hasn't died, it has evolved. The core value of a developer has definitively shifted away from writing the lines of code yourself and toward directing the intelligence that writes it for you.